Hey guys, Nick from Arcade Hunters with the final two videos from my Walt Disney World trip. These are going to be two more talking head commentary videos like the intro and the Disney Quest rant that, as I've said, when we do videos here on Arcade Hunters, we basically, we're reviewing the arcade, we're not reviewing games, because I remember back when we used to do some of the videos, someone said, why didn't you stop at that game and talk about it? We're talking about the arcade, we're not talking about the games. So what I wanted to do with this video is I want to talk about some of the games that I've played at Disney Quest and also at some of the other locations, because, a lot of these were some of the very first times I've gotten to play a lot of them. So I wanted to talk about some of what I liked and some of what I didn't like. So I'll get right into what I did not like. And once again, this is going to sound like a complete rant and a bash. But pretty much 9 times out of 10, if it was made by Global VR, was not good. I mean, I played the Justice League Heroes United game, and I'm looking at it, and was watching a couple people play it, and I was watching the intros, and I'm thinking, okay, this game looks like a really crappy Dreamcast 3D brawler. I mean, really rude-looking graphics, but, I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up with the Atari 2600. I have an imagination, so I can say, okay, this is what the castle wall looks like in Warlords. That's a bag of Reese's Pieces in E.T. So I could say, okay, maybe the game doesn't look that good, but maybe it plays good. So, automatically with Arkham City coming out, went right for Batman. It was terrible. I mean, all you do is you walk down the street, a couple of clowns come at you, you beat them up, and you walk to the next. Even getting to Harley and fighting Harley, I'm pretty sure they got no voices from the show. I mean, just really, really terrible. The joysticks on it, I don't know if that's how they're meant to be, but they're kind of like these weird, like, half joysticks. They all look broken when I saw them. And when you play it, it worked all right, but it just did not feel right. And the game just felt very sloppy and very floaty. I've said it before, but I would rather play Spike Out Battle Street on the Xbox, the original Xbox. And I know Spike Out is a really good beat-em-up series in Japan, and we just got Battle Street, which is total garbage, but I'd rather play that. And that was more fun. You could actually do more weapon combos and stuff like that. This was just very tired and boring. Really generic beat-em-up. The other one that I played was Twisted Stunt Racing. My God, I'm thinking, like, okay, they have, like, all these tracks where you can do loop-de-loos and stuff like that. You go up a big barrel. Pretty much all you have to do is hold down on the turbo button, and you're good to go. You go right through it. I mean, it was so boring. It looked dated. There was tons of pop-up in it. It was bad. And kind of like the same thing with the NASCAR game. I mean, the NASCAR game looks bad. It looks terrible. And it's got the crappy EA tracks music, they call it. And I just hate that game. We're going to do a full review of NASCAR Racing and also of both Daytonas, especially now that Daytona is now on Xbox 360 and PSN. But I don't like the boost mechanic that they have in the game, where pretty much in order to play NASCAR Racing, you have to get behind a car and draft them. And when you draft them, you build up a boost. And once the boost is filled up, you automatically take off and go. So basically, you just keep doing that until you get to the front of the pack. But the thing is, when you get into the front of the pack, you have to swerve around like a drunk driver, so whoever's behind you can't build up enough boost to go past you. And that's basically the whole game. It's just so boring. I mean, every racing game is you race around in a circle. But, you can be a sim game, like another game, Grid, which was sim. I was saying, once I saw them travel in a straight line, I said, uh-oh, this isn't an outrun game. This is a Gran Turismo-style game. I gotta slow down. And I just stopped it right there, and I went, oh, okay. But there's a couple of the other games. Dead Heat from Namco was a lot of fun. Really, it seems like they're trying to go for that Need for Speed, not Need for Speed, like Fast and the Furious type of more arcade-style racer, where you can build up your car and trick it out and stuff like that. I did play the two new games from the the Fast and the Furious series. I'm getting my Need for Speed and Fast and Furious screwed up, but I played Supercars. Supercars is alright. The one thing that I don't like about playing those types of games at Disney Quest, where, when you play those games, they want you to keep buying in, and they have a code that you can put your code in, so, each time you come to the arcade, you'll have your car, and you can just put upgrades on it. But what they have on Disney Quest, since there's maximum credits in it, pretty much you just go through and just completely trick the car out, and you're good to go. Same thing with Superbikes 2. And Superbikes 2 I had a lot of fun with, because there's a Tron motorcycle, and I forget what they call it, but it was really funny getting to play it, and I was playing it over at the Saratoga Springs arcade. That the one I unfortunately didn't get a video of, but that was pretty cool. I really liked both of them. They don't look good, but that's kind of like what the opposite is with the little VR games. Like, I mean, if you look at the stuff that Fast and Furious games, they don't look that good. You can play better on your 360, on your PlayStation 3, on your PC, but they are a lot of fun to play. And one of the other games that I've said I can't talk enough about this game. I was looking so forward to playing this game because, being a fan of Arcade Heroes, getting to read all the news about Namco Bandai's Tank. Holy shit. This game is fun. The only problem was that didn't get to play it with anybody. There was one kid that was next to me in Disney Quest, and he kept wanting to do the what you have in the game is, it's basically it's a tank game, and it's very easy. You got one foot pedal goes forward, one goes backwards, and you just collect weapons and stuff like that. And there's 3 different scenarios that you can do. You can do a team battle, which is like, two players versus another 2 players. You can also do an all-out brawl, which is just everybody against themselves. Or you can do the third one that I'd much rather do, is the giant monster melee. And that's where you and another person, I'm pretty sure you can link it to 4 cabinets, but over at Disney Quest, they did not have them linked. They had, it was 2, and then there was like a big, exhaust pipe, and then there was another next to it, so they didn't have them hooked up. And that was, what you do is you fight giant enemies in it. So there's a swarm of bees, there's a swarm of ants that you fight in the beginning, and then the next one you kind of fight a 3-headed dragon like Ghidorah, and there's it's like a giant octopus with a battleship on its back, which is really funny. And the last one is you fight a bunch of building robots, where I immediately thought of Tom Hanks in Big, where what's fun about a building that turns into a robot. But, I mean, these guys are really funny because they have all the Japanese writing and stuff on them, and you just blow them up. There's a bunch of crazy weapons. If you see a tank, play it. I mean, it is just a ton of fun. I loved it. One of the games that you saw I got really excited about at Disney Quest was Tetris Giant, and that game I'm so glad I got to play. Really cool stuff, because I'm pretty sure it's in Tetris the Grandmaster, where if you put a code in, you get big mode, where the bricks are just really oversized and take up the whole thing. So you gotta play it completely different from a regular game of Tetris. Not just the fact that you're using a giant joystick that's like about 3 feet high. So, with that, the one thing that I wanted to say, if you go to Disney Quest, play the one that's on the left. You can actually hear the music and the sound effects. And what's also cool is the joystick does have a shaker motor on it. So if you get anything above a single line, the joystick will actually go like this and just vibrate like that. It's not like, it doesn't give you the control back. Like, you're not playing Tetris the Grandmaster, where the pieces are falling instantaneously. You have enough time to do everything. And you can do a versus battle and stuff like that, where you kind of struggle for each piece, and you can, send garbage blocks to the next player. Pretty cool stuff from Sega. I'm really glad I got to see that. Pac-Man Battle Royale, unfortunately, no one to play it with. And the AI in the game is dumb as a rock, because all you have to do is knock into the opponent, and it sends them flying. So what I found the easiest thing to do in Pac-Man Battle Royale is, if you're both small Pac-Men, knock into the other guy, that'll send him backwards. I've knock more players into ghosts than actually getting the power pellet and eating down the AI opponents. So, it seems like it would be a cool game to play in a bar with a bunch of players together, but as a single-player game, don't bother. Make sure you have some friends to play. It's definitely a game to play. It's a multiplayer game. What I say is, I would rather play Pac-Man Versus on the Nintendo DS. You can get that on the Namco collection. Definitely pick that up. That's worth the. It should be like less than $10 now. You can get it used for. And when you have that, you have the single card play. You can do Pac-Man Versus on it. It's a lot of fun. Sega had their Hummer Extreme Edition. I've never played. I'm pretty sure that's the upgrade of Hummer. A lot of fun. Really cool because that's the fax going off. But don't worry about that. You can go through and, they want you to just cause mayhem in these giant trucks and stuff like that. So once you start bumping into stuff, you get boost power, and you got a giant boost button. You just slam them down on it and just go, and just a ton of fun. That also with, I haven't gotten a chance to talk a lot about it, but H2O Overdrive from Raw Thrills and Spectacular Interactive. These are the guys that originally worked on Hydro Thunder. And if you guys are thinking, oh, this is Hydro Thunder Hurricane, I'm going to say it right now. Hydro Thunder Hurricane on the 360 is shit. If you see H2O Overdrive, that is the sequel it should be. You can smack into opponents. You get a bunch of achievements for you put your phone number into it and it saves your data. And you can just do tons of stuff. There's hidden boats and stuff like that. When I was playing at the Contemporary Hotel, Robin put his passcode in, and he basically had the entire game unlocked except for the versus challenges because there wasn't a second unit hooked up to it. And he was showing me there's a boat for big buck hunters, so it's like a guy and kind of like an old Louisiana thing with a dead buck in the back that he's taking home. But my favorite one was there's a Jaws one where the boat has a shark in it, and in the shark's mouth there's a guy going like this, struggling to get out of the mouth. It was really friggin' funny. So those were some of the games that I played over in my trip to Disney World. Really hope you go and check out stuff like Tank, Dead Heat. And, as much as I don't like realistic racing games, Grid was pretty good, but, I prefer to play stuff like Outrun. So that's my little take on some of the games that I played. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the final video. It's going to be just me talking about some of the changes from Disney World. So, once again, Nick from Arcade Hunters, thank you for watching.